Hey everyone, John from Nintendo Live here, and I am not alone. I'm joined by Alex.
Oh no, my recording's full screen and I'm gonna stop it by accident.
If you want context for that, Xeon, something went wrong with his recording, and Xeon's here too!
It's 6:30 a.m. I am very sorry though, I'm fully rested. How's it going?
Pretty good, because we just saw the latest Pokemon Presents. Was that worth you waking up early for, Xeon?
I'm not gonna spoil that yet. But you'll find out. By the end of this discussion, everyone will know how we all feel, won't they?
So do you want to know what we saw in this? Well, we got updates on several existing games, and then we got a bigger update on Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and Pokemon Legends Arceus. Or Arceus. I always say Arceus, they said Arceus. What's the official...
Same.
I think it was originally Arceus, and then I think everyone in the UK just simultaneously sniggered. So they changed it to Arceus. I might be wrong about that, but that's my understanding.
I don't think people are too excited about most of the updates. We'll kind of blow through them pretty quick. But Pokemon Unite is coming to mobile on the 22nd of September. Are you excited?
Yeah,
No?
baby. Ooh. No. Yeah, I'm not either. I'm not either.
I really don't care. We knew it was coming to mobile. I don't know how else to express it. I just really don't care.
It was kind of a known entity, wasn't it? We expected it to come soon, and there's going to be some new Pokemon in there as well, like Sylveon, so that's neat for those who are sticking with Pokemon Unite, but we should probably move on, because I don't think any of us can.
Sorry, I did want to say something about the fact that if you're playing, like, if you've got the Switch version and you log in, you can get Zeraora for free, and it's like, I'm fairly certain people have bought Zeraora already.
Yeah, that's
So
no.
it feels like a bit of a slap in the face, frankly.
They got the joy of enjoying him for a week. That's their prize.
Yeah.
But Pokemon Cafe Mix is getting an update too, and it's such a big update that they have changed the title. It's now called Pokemon Cafe Remix, and they said there's new elements. They weren't very clear on what those elements really were, but you can dress up Pokemon, I think.
Yeah, and there are some new Pokemon in it. I must admit, I'm not really familiar with Pokemon Cafe Mix, or indeed Remix. Well, I think I know more about Remix because they've only just bloomin' announced it. But it is... I think it's a title update, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I can't deny I'm just not interested. I wasn't interested in Pokemon Cafe Mix originally. And I swear, I seem to think like they didn't do any updates on it for a long time. So I'm guessing maybe it didn't grab people's attention, so they're trying to revamp it or something. I don't know.
There's not really much to say about this one. It's no Pokemon Puzzle League.
And there's the quota fulfilled. Well done, John.
But we'll wrap things up a bit more. There's just a few more smaller games to get through. Pokemon Masters EX is on its second year anniversary, and they're introducing Dynamaxing. And N is going to be in this as well.
I did like to see N. That was a nice appearance. Even though I don't play Pokemon Masters, and I just love seeing N come back.
I kind of fell off Masters pretty quickly, but I know some people still are pretty into this game, so cool for them.
Yeah, and I know there's lots of people that are excited about this, and I'm happy for you. It just, all the free-to-play stuff is just, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, then we have the final update for an existing game, which is Pokemon Go. For the 5th anniversary, they're giving us Gala Pokemon. But it seems they're kind of drip-feeding them. They only showed us a couple of them in there, like Wooloo's going to be in there, and Squavert. And I think the Legendaries are going to be in raids as well, right?
Yep, and Phalanx is just going to be out and about as well.
Cool, so I guess we'll get more down the line, but we're very gradually getting all the Pokemon in Pokemon Go.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a bit weird that they're jumping to Galar and they're using Hooper as an excuse. I don't know. They never said it was Hooper, but it's Hooper. They keep showing it, but not saying its name, and it's kind of irritating.
Any thoughts on this, Xeon, or should we just go straight on?
No, I've enjoyed Pokemon Go.
Any thoughts? No.
I just haven't kept up with all the Pokemon that are in it. And I don't know.
But Xeon, there's a new Pikachu with another hat.
When? For Halloween? For what, Labor Day? What's it going to be?
I think it was St. Swithin's Day.
Oh, yeah, that one.
I would unironically love a Pikachu with like a kipper on its head for St. Swithin's Day.
I sat through these updates just thinking, when are they going to get to the fireworks factory? And then eventually they did. Because we got Pokemon, they started with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. And the reactions to this online are actually pretty positive right now. I saw you guys, I had a little peek at your messages. You were kind of on the iffy side. I was pretty happy after this trailer, though.
I mean, I don't. There wasn't anything super revolutionary. What they showed was fine, but I know Diamond and Pearl through and through. They're actually heavily nostalgic for me. I think I've actually played them more than I've played any other Pokemon game. Like, I really like. I went hard into Diamond, and yet none of this is exciting me.
Oh.
It's fine, but it just looks like, oh, it's the same games again. And I've played those games, and I'm not poo-pooing anyone who wants to play these games again. Absolutely, that's great for them, but just for me personally, it's just not inspiring. I mean, I like the fact that they've what have they done? They've changed it so that you can get like different Pokemon in these like hideaways. And depends what statues you put in your base, changes what Pokemon are in there. That's semi-cool, but it's just a remake of Diamond and Pearl in an art style I don't like.
See, the art style, I kind of liked it a bit when they revealed it, but it was very clearly choppy. I mean, it looked a bit like Cocomelon. It was just very vivid colors and quite...
What's Cocomelon?
Cocomelon's a baby show.
Yeah, it's that show he watches with his daughter.
When are you going to admit it, John? You don't have a daughter. You just like Peppa Pig.
I don't want to talk about this. But in the debut trailer, everything was quite flat looking, and I think they have revamped it quite a bit. Like, the textures look like actual materials now. The lighting's a lot better. Just as a whole, I think the water looks great too. As a whole, it's just a bit more appealing. But if you don't like the chibi art style, of course, nothing's going to change that. But I do think this looks a lot better than it did when it was revealed.
Yeah, I do think they've improved the look of it overall, but still, I think, unfortunately, just for me personally, the entire thing is flawed from the get-go because, I'm just not super interested in a remake of Diamond and Pearl where they do almost nothing new. I mean, they're really, really sort of hammering home that this is a remake. It's almost like down to the square identical. And I just sort of feel that this is an opportunity where they could revamp it and make it more interesting, bring in new elements from newer games or something like that. But they're playing it seemingly super safe.
Well, there were a few new elements. Like, we know that trainer customization's back, so you can dress up your characters. There was some...
but it's only like entire outfits. You can't do individual items.
Yeah, but it is still something that wasn't in the original, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's some games like... So I was watching my partner play Link's Awakening, the remake on Switch last night. And, that was there was one point where... she got like a little frustrated about something that wasn't explained very well, and I was talking about how I feel, obviously I grew up with Link's Awakening, and so I felt that the game, for anyone who's unaware, the game it got a remake on Switch, and it's originally from the Game Boy, and they really didn't change a whole lot about the game itself. They allow you to use more items without having to go to your hub menu, and the graphics have changed, but beyond that there really isn't a whole lot different. And for me, I appreciate that. I'm glad that the game stayed so true to the original. Where, Alex, it sounds like with this game, I mean, I think Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, I do agree. I think that there are lots of new elements that they're adding into the game that some of them don't necessarily feel necessary, but I also don't know if they intrude or they they're not interrupting the main flow of the game. It doesn't seem like either. But what would you have liked to see different, I suppose, about this? What would make you happy about it, I guess?
Oh God,
I know that's a big question.
The fact that you bring up Link's Awakening is a good point, because I love the new Link's Awakening, even though the arguments that I'm making against Diamond and Pearl here, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, are some of the things that I really like about Link's Awakening, and maybe it just comes down to the difference in the game itself. Sort of Link's Awakening being much more story-driven with a sort of you go through and you complete the game. Pokemon isn't really that. I don't know. Maybe it's another element that I'm not fully aware of, but yeah, I think what I would like to have seen them done is maybe it would have been really interesting to get something maybe a little bit more like Pokemon Colosseum, like a 3D exploration, stuff like that, not gonna lie, maybe something a bit closer to a game that we're about to talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not really sure what I would want them to do instead. It's just I'm not annoyed about it. I'm not even disappointed. I'm just disinterested.
I am looking forward to elements that just naturally come with like a 15-year gap in Pokemon, because HMs were a big thing in Diamond and Pearl, and that they've been completely taken out of modern Pokemon. Well, I mean, we know random encounters are in here, but overworld encounters are in those little cave dungeons that you can find, and they came from Let's Go and Sword and Shield, and just little things, and like fairy-type Pokemon, like just changing all the types and things that have come with those generational leaps. That kind of stuff is minor, but I think it really is going to change just the core feeling of the game, though. So I'm pretty excited to just sort of mess around with all that stuff.
Did you play much Diamond and Pearl or like Platinum back in the day? Like, what was your game, John?
Yeah, I played them a ton. Looking back on them, they're not my favorite region. I was far more into Black and White and Black and White 2, but I did play Pokemon Pearl for like 200 hours, I think.
Wow.
And I dipped into Platinum. Platinum was definitely a much better paced game, because Diamond and Pearl had those really slow battle problems when you use a move and your health bar just very gradually goes down. And there's traces of Platinum in here too, which is pretty cool.
Sorry, traces of Platinum is a brilliant pun.
That was very unintentional. But yeah, I like them, but they weren't my favorite Pokemons. But I am pretty eager to jump back in, though.
That's good. And I know a lot of people have been begging for remakes of these series for so long. You know, Silver's been remade before, and Red and Blue have, I mean, in ways, you know, with Fire Red and Leaf Green, and then the Let's Go series, you know, they've been remade before, and Ruby and Sapphire have had their due time, and you know, I know a lot of people have been, you know, clamoring for these games, and so I think I sit on the fence where I'm not as excited to play these games either, but I hope that the people, you know, like that have been wanting these remakes for so long are happy with it, you know, because that's. You know, I think that's what matters at the end of the day, is that those people are satisfied.
Yeah, I think I may have actually potentially pinned down another thing why these games aren't interesting me. I think with previous remakes, because they always bring them up to the current generation, and they have parity, like Fire Red and Leaf Green had parity with Ruby and Sapphire, and Heart Gold and Soul Silver had parity with Diamond and Pearl. But they're not doing that this time. The games aren't going to have parity with Sword and Shield. It just seems like a much smaller project. It's almost... I'm not saying this is, you know, this is a thought process, but this is just the way that I kind of see it. It sort of feels like they felt obligated to remake the games. So they got an external studio to do it. They just kind of let someone else deal with it, rather than, you know, Game Freak dealing with it themselves. I don't know. Maybe they just wanted to outsource because they were working on Arceus.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, remakes are just kind of an expectation at this point. But we get to the point of, like, when do we need to stop having remakes? Because when we get to, like, Pokemon X and Y, do we want those games remade? Because people grew up with those games, so of course some people will, but is it necessary?
Yeah,
I almost feel like at that point, like, just a simple port would be fine, but those, or even like Black and White too, even those games were the last games to really use like a sprite-based art style. And so I'm curious, is that like, will Nintendo take it that far? And then will they just start, you know, doing like X and Y HD? You know, will they start doing things like that because maybe it'll be easier for them too? I don't know. We'll find out in 10 years.
Yeah. One little interesting thing at the end was they said that ranked battles would only be in Sword and Shield. So it looks like they want to have these like different pillars of Pokemon, where Sword and Shield is like the competitive one, and these ones will have like online trading and presumably online battles. But yeah, the competitive components staying in Sword and Shield.
Interesting. Okay.
They did seem to sort of say that quite quickly as well. They just said, you know, ranked battles you've been enjoying, they won't be in these games. Let's move on.
Yeah, it was a very quick aside.
I mean, it's no love lost for me personally, because I'm not really into ranked battles. I don't know, I'm just not that kind of mindset for Pokemon. But I can see some people being disappointed by that, because I think it would be, as much as anything, it would be fun to try and, you know, maybe use some of the more Diamond and Pearl-esque mechanics in a competitive scenario.
Though they did say that the Pokemon will be compatible with Pokemon Home too, and there's quite a lot of Sinnoh Pokemon missing from Sword and Shield, so I guess there's a high chance that a lot of them will be able to transfer, but we don't quite know the specifics on that yet.
I'm really excited about like the dungeon crawling aspect of this game and seeing, you know, like being able to have a Pokemon follow behind you and being able to fight them in the hideaways. That seemed kind of like a neat little addition. And so for the fact that I never really I don't have strong memories of playing Diamond or Pearl back in the day, I think I'm going to be more excited to give these games a shot once they're actually out and about, but I still haven't even finished Pokemon Shield or Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. Like, I'm really falling behind in newer Pokemon games, so who knows if I'll play this. But I will say that I'm more excited after seeing the trailer. I just I think I am on the fence of like wishing that the game had a different art style, but it is what it is, and I can't change it. So
you put into perspective how many different Pokemon games are on the Switch right now, with like Let's Go, Sword and Shield, the Diamond and Pearl remakes, and the next game we're about to talk about. But they all look and play pretty differently, and I think that's kind of neat. But this one in particular, Pokemon Legends Arceus, not Arceus, this is the most out there one so far. And the first showing was a bit rough. There's still edges that are rough here, but I like that the Pokemon that are near you don't move at 5 frames per second anymore. That's a nice addition.
It's a nice little bonus, isn't it?
Yeah, nice little quality of life improvement there. But Xeon, what were your base opinions on the new showing of Legends Arceus?
So I was pretty excited about it. Glad I'm happy to see some different kinds of Pokemon in there, which we can talk about a little more in a little bit. But you know, that made me happy. I was glad to see the graphics were running smooth as well. I love the town aspect. Obviously a Pokemon game has to have different towns, but it just you know, seeing these towns in this Pokemon game sort of from I guess I say from a different perspective, but just, you know, potentially being able to roam around and move the camera freely is exciting to me as well, and I like that there's so many different characters that we're going to be able to interact with the game too. Like, I feel like we got a much better representation, a better showing of what the game sort of has to offer this time around than that first trailer. I guess that's really just a fact. That's not even an opinion. That's just straight facts. But yeah, I guess I'm more excited about this. It does, I will say it at times, it really does feel like Breath of the Wild Pokemon, but okay. I don't...
When you craft an item, the sound effect is so similar to Breath of the Wild.
Oh, was it? I think it was the moment where where they show off that you can like fly around on a Pokemon, or even just like the riding elements, where there's like the Sawsbuck evolution. When I just and then there was a point too where the main Pokemon trainer that you're playing as was standing on a cliff, and the camera kind of like did this like 360, like a 180
they knew
pan.
What they were doing. Yeah.
It was straight out of a Breath of the Wild trailer, and yeah.
I'm sorry, Xeon, but just because otherwise we're going to get comments. It's not a Sawsbuck evolution. It's a Stantler evolution.
Gosh, man, I can't believe I used to run a Pokemon TCG league, and now I'm mixing up the deer Pokemon. Just get rid of me now.
I was just impressed that I recognized a Basculin evolution when I saw it.
Yeah,
who remembers Basculin?
Well, now we finally have a reason to remember Basculin.
It was funny with the Diamond and Pearl remakes. They do these like very jolly little animations of the starters, and then for Legends they got these really gritty like black screen ones with them.
Oh, you're right. Around.
But Alex, what did you think about Legends?
I've got to say that overall, I'm fairly hopeful. I actually really like the stuff that they showed off. I've got a few concerns overall, but realistically, we got a better look at the game, as Xeon stated as his opinion. But I think overall it's looking like a breath of the wild, fresh air for the Pokemon series, and that's something that has been so sorely needed for a long time. And in a way, I'm kind of glad that we've got it kind of coming out roughly the same time as Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, because then you're kind of covering both areas. You've got the original fans who just want literally the same game. They're happy. And you've got the people who want, you know, the series to go in a different direction, like myself. And I'm happy. I'm looking at it, and I'm a bit concerned about the amount of gameplay there's going to be, and, you know, slightly worried about repetition, but at the end of the day, we still haven't seen the full game, so I'm still holding out hope that there's going to be more than I think. Yeah, I mean, there's no bones about it. It's Breath of the Wild Pokemon Edition. And as much as, it's sort of, it's a Breath of the Wild clone, at the end of the day, Breath of the Wild was an absolutely outstanding and stellar game. And so taking a few notes from that, I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. It's derivative, yes, but I don't think it's a bad thing. And, with certain new elements that they... I just love the fact that it's like, you go out on expeditions and you're making the first Pokedex, which I think is a really cool idea. Much more interesting premise than we've ever seen before. I just love the fact that there was a mission where you saw they came back and they spoke to the person. It's like, the results are, Wurmple can evolve... It just tickled me. It's just like, wow, this worm can get big or something, It just tickled me. I also like the fact that wild Pokemon directly attack you. That's so refreshing. It's just the whole thing feels really refreshing. The battle system is new as well. I mean, I don't want to cover everything and leave nobody else anything to talk about, but the battle system looks... It kind of feels like they've been wanting to change things for a while, and they've finally got the green light, and they're going, okay, throw it all in!
Yeah, it really does feel like a leap, and if this does well, this could shape the future of Pokemon, because this is like just being put in as a spin-off right now. It's Legends Arceus, so hopefully this can sort of lead into things to come. But it does look really different, and I love how, like, in regular Pokemon games, you'd open up a menu and you'd fly somewhere, and that's it. But now we can get on we can just ride on a Pokemon and fly over the world ourselves. Like, interacting like that feels like such a refreshing step forward. The visuals, they definitely run better. The game is running at a pretty smooth frame rate, but it still looks fuzzy. Like, you can tell it's still pretty low resolution. I think the gameplay might carry that, but there's no getting past that it looks a bit iffy.
Yeah, I don't know for a fact. I'd have to look at them side by side, but I get the feeling that the graphics may have even been slightly downgraded. I mean, I don't know whether that's just because I'm misremembering the original. In fact, that's the most likely thing, but I looked at it and I didn't think it was quite as visually appealing. Visually appealing. It felt like maybe there was less long grass, it wasn't quite as dense and things like that.
I agree. I felt that the grass was shorter. I haven't fact-checked this yet, but that crossed my brain too, yeah.
It just kind of exposes the textures underneath. And there are times when it does look artistically quite nice, but then there's other times where it just looks a bit muddy. Again, though, I think what it's doing with the gameplay might sort of carry that rather than just sort of focusing on how it looks all the time. Because it is doing a lot, and maybe this will feel like a proper jump for Pokemon.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping, really. I'm just hoping that it does well. I don't think it has to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the Breath of the Wild of the Pokemon series in the sense of being this transformative, sort of new step in this new direction for the series, but I want it to be good and successful enough that it shows that, people do want evolution from the Pokemon series, if you'll pardon the pun.
Yeah, I really hope that this whole game just works out as well, because I noticed at the beginning of the second trailer, if you want to call it that, I guess, where they showed off more of the gameplay features directly. The first line I think that the person that was narrating the trailer said was that Pokemon Legends, it's Arceus, right? Arceus now,
Arceus.
Not Arceus.
Yeah.
Okay, that Pokemon Legends Arceus is going to open new doors for the Pokemon series, and I like just them even stating that's kind of the obvious thing, right? That it really is. But I'm glad to hear that the Pokemon Company is looking at it in from that perspective, because hopefully then, if this does do well, then we'll get more stories, revolving around the Pokemon world in this gameplay style. As long as this game is a good game and it sells well. So
hopefully they're major doors that are going to be opened and not just like cupboard doors.
Oh yeah,
Hopefully.
They famously go nowhere.
I'm interested in seeing how it dives into the past, because we know that some Pokemon are going to look different, mostly for this region, but I hope we see the fossils from prior games, just not being fossils, just being actual living Pokemon.
Oh, that'd be cool. Although, didn't they die millions of years ago?
Yeah, I suppose.
I did just check too. The grass was definitely a big problem frame rate wise in the last trailer, and the grass is still here. It's still long. I didn't notice that it was a problem or that it was even there. I guess because the frames weren't tanking. So yeah, I'm glad to see that that's running smooth and confirm it.
That's reassuring, yeah, because I don't get me wrong, I would take better performance, well, reasonable performance over needless flashy flair any day, but I'm pleased they haven't had to strip anything back, or at least it seems they haven't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice.
We are getting kind of close to release. I'm not expecting things to change drastically, but it's nice to see both this and the remakes are looking way better than when they were shown earlier in the year. I think those are the earliest they've shown Pokemon games. Like, usually it's within months, whereas with Legends Arceus, it would be around a year, maybe just a bit less than a year, and you can really see how the development's come along since then. So that's very neat. Yeah,
I agree. It's pretty crazy, because this Arceus is coming out in January of next year, right? And then when is Diamond and Pearl coming out?
That's November. Right? Yeah.
Wow, 2 months. So, because like where I'm sitting right now is I'm not sure if I'm going to pick up Diamond and Pearl, mostly just because, like I said, I already have other Pokemon games on my plate that I should finish first, and maybe with all the hype I'll pick it up, who knows. But I feel like Arceus is going to be the game that I'm going to pick up. But if you were to speak with your wallet, or even, which ones would you get? Are you going to get both? Are you going to get none? I feel like that last answer is not a thing, but...
I mean, personally speaking, I'm going to get both, but I feel like Arceus is definitely the more daring one. I don't think it's going to sell better, though. This feels like it's appealing more to the core audience, whereas the remakes are definitely more broad. I think they're more children before you dive into those.
Sure.
I hope Arceus does relatively well, though, but I don't expect it to really set things on fire in the same way that the remakes will. But I am interested in both, and I'm probably leaning a bit more to Arceus. Well, a lot more to Arceus, actually.
Yeah. I guess that's a good point too. I wonder if Diamond and Pearl are just going to sell better too because of the holidays. I didn't even think about that as well, that they come out before Christmas and all that jazz. But
if I'm reviewing or something, Brilliant Diamond or Shining Pearl, doing it through work, then yes, I'll play it. But I'm not gonna lie, if it just comes down to me, will I buy the game? No, I won't. To be honest. It just doesn't... I've got enough bloody games to play as it is. I just don't have the interest in this in order to justify picking it up. But Arceus, on the other hand, yeah, I'm double downing on that one. I am really genuinely looking forward to that. Again, I think it was just much... I'm sorry to bring back Breath of the Wild, but just in the same way as Breath of the Wild, I was kind of cautiously, it looks really good, but I hope it's not just, glitz and glamour, but there's no substance. But that's exactly the same way that I feel right now. I hope that it does have, body to it. It does have substance, and it's not just going to be kind of a bland, sort of repetitive, empty, open world kind of game. I'm not saying it looks like that. I'm just saying I'm worried, because I'm a worrier.
Sure. And you compare this to the wild area from Sword and Shield, I think it already looks there's way more going on
already like 30 times better.
Yeah. And I do think the Sword and Shield DLC wild areas they had a bit more going on, like the Isle of Armor and the Isle of... what's the other one called? Isle of Armor? And
the Crown Tundra.
The Crown
wasn't
Tundra.
even an isle.
Right, yeah. So both of those were like one big area. They didn't really have like loading zones or different towns to visit. And this kind of looks like it's building far upon that, though, because it's not just a big open space with Pokemon to catch. There seems to be more to do here. And I'm into it. I've wanted a Pokemon game where you can just move the camera around freely wherever you are for so long. And Sword and Shield was like a little step towards that, but it wasn't the full jump. And this seems to be it.
Is this game being made is Arceus being made by the same development team as like the main development team of Pokemon?
That's Game Freak.
Yeah, Game Freak.
Awesome.
Can we briefly talk about the fact that, and this is something that I genuinely really like, Team Galactic, or what are they called in this? I've got it down my notes. Where is it? Find it quickly.
The Galaxy
Expedition Team, and you're part of it. And they're not like evil or trying to take over the world or anything. They're just a research team. I genuinely think that's a really, really clever nod, because it ties it in with the Sinnoh region, the modern Sinnoh region. But it also kind of sort of shows that Team Team Galactic, sort of had roots in what is realistically just a research team. It's just, it's just scientists wanting to understand the world. So, I don't know, it almost sort of shows a different side. It sort of shows that not everything that's evil necessarily starts off evil.
If
And
it
that's
weren't for
just,
Team
I just kind of...
Galactic, there'd be no Pokedex.
Yeah. Yeah, I just kind of like that. It's just sort of, it feels like rather than coming up with something new and Team Galactic still being evil in the past, it sort of shows that, no, time changes a lot of things. It's a weirdly mature topic.
Yeah. I do hope there's some kind of conflict, because we don't know, well, there probably won't be gyms in this game.
You've done it now, John, haven't you? It's going to be the Galactic Research Team is going to turn evil and, no, we want to control all the Pokemon. And look, there's Arceus and Dialga and Palkia, and we're going to take over time and space.
Maybe Team Galactic has just actually time traveled, and they found a way to go back in time, and then now
that would be so
they've inserted
bad.
themselves into the past, and now that's
they've come
why
from the Chibi universe, and they're just these Chibi models.
Find out the rest of the story in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Is that? I don't even remember if that's the titles.
And then the Phantom Ruby appears.
But I think these are pretty promising showcases, and I was hoping that they'd show something else, because they said that there'll be other updates, and clearly those updates were on existing games, so that was a little bit deflating. But really, they've got 2 Pokemon games coming up, they're 2 big ones, and yeah, personally, I was just pretty impressed by both of them.
John, was Growlithe not enough for you, though? Did you not love that Growlithe?
I did love that Growlithe.
It's a handsome little Growlithe, isn't it?
Even though he needs a little haircut, probably has some trouble seeing, He'll stick close to you, though, because, he doesn't know where else to go.
When I was a teenager, I had hair going over my eyes a bit, and my mum would say, "Oh, you can't see him over there." And that's basically how this Growlithe feels. He can see, though. I know he can.
Yeah, I had the same thing, John. I'm glad to know we were both
we can relate to this
semi-emo with the sweep. Was it sweeping in one direction over one eye?
Of course.
Oh, absolutely.
It was a look, wasn't it? It was a look.
We need to show off those photos someday. I've probably already shared some of mine, but that needs to be a thing. This Growlithe, though, it looks independent, though. It looks like it doesn't have a mom telling it what to do.
Do Growlithes have mums?
Yeah. Do Growlithes have moms? I hope so. Can you put Growlithe in the thumbnail somewhere, John, please?
Yeah, sure.
Cool, thanks.
Growlithes come from eggs.
That's true.
I don't like that.
I don't like the fact that mammals come from eggs either. It rubs me up the wrong way.
All right, well, what would we rate this out of 10 Pokeballs?
For me, if Legends wasn't here, I would maybe give this like a 5 or a 6. I mean, Diamond and Pearl was pulling it for me, and pulling it above like a much lower. Like if Diamond and Pearl and Arceus wasn't here, then this would just be like a 1 for me. But I think I'd probably put it closer to like a 7 or an 8 now. Just having those 2 games in there. It wasn't perfect. I am glad that they got like the mobile stuff out of the way right away, or the free-to-play games, But yeah, probably a 7 or an 8 for me.
If there wasn't Arceus, honestly, this would be like a 2 for me. There was so little of substance for everything else. Arceus definitely saved it for me. But one thing that it doesn't matter at the end of the day, but it kind of rubbed me up the wrong way, just how low the production value for some of this was. Like
some trailers with different audio levels.
Yes, drastically different audio levels. And it's just like, you are the largest media franchise in the world, and you can't get your audio balanced properly. Even I can do that, and I'm just some boob on the internet.
Those tech zooms, though.
Oh, the tech zooms, yeah, in the Gen 4 trailer. They zoom in so close.
The thing everyone remembers, it's the dialogue.
And it's not just that, though. They're zooming in to a 1080p image, like really, really close, and it just looks awful. It's so pixelated.
You can't read it. Yeah, and they weren't even like blurring out some text or anything, or like it wasn't. You weren't able to like quickly read what was being shown to you, because you couldn't even see the full sentence either. It was only part of it, and it was like, what am I supposed to focus on?
Yeah. The voiceover man sounded like he was in a cupboard.
Oh, he did. You're right. Yeah, I was like, there must have been some noise in the background or something. Maybe they like denoised the whole thing. I don't know. For him,
Mom,
I think
I'm trying to record Pokemon Presents.
Shut up, Mom! I don't want any tea. I don't want any tea.
Well, I quite like this as well, though. I think I was more positive about the remakes than you guys are, but I enjoyed them both. I think I'd give this a solid 7 or 8. I mean, it's the second showing. They didn't really reveal anything major, but it's nice to see that these are coming along much better than they initially were. And I think they revealed them both too soon. I'd rather they have waited off until they looked a bit more like this, but it's looking good.
I've just realised I didn't give mine a rating. I'd give it a 6 overall. 6 Pokeballs out of 10. Honestly, Arceus on its own drags it from below average to above average.
That's fair. And hey, I mean, not every Presents is going to be everyone's cup of tea. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I just sort of, just in terms of the sheer number of games they showed, a majority. Even if we were to discount Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, a majority of the games that they showed, I just don't care about.
Yeah.
I mean, Pokemon Go I play still, but it was just like, hey, here's some Pokemon. I'm pretty sure they announced that prior. I'm fairly certain we already knew this was going to happen.
Well, I suppose that's probably it for now then. Maybe more spin-offs get revealed down the line, but we don't know of anything else coming up. But this year, we had new Pokemon Snaps. It's hard to complain too much about lack of spin-offs.
So you're saying next year is Pinball? Is that what you're saying?
Next year is a double bill of Pinball and Puzzle League.
Oh, I'm getting chills.
Pokemon Puzzle League Pinball.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh.
We deserve that.
Featuring Sonic the Hedgehog from the Yakuza series.
Oh, wow.
Can we get that monkey from Danimals in there, too, that was in that Sonic mobile game? What's his name? Jeffrey or something like that?
You're talking another language right now. I have no idea what you're saying.
You're lucky.
I don't know where
You're
we
fortunate.
are now either. But this is probably a good time to wrap the video up. So if you enjoyed this, let us know in the comments below. And go to the subscribe button and dive off a cliff, but then catch it and fly around. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Xeon, I choose you!
But I choose the Growlithe.
You can't talk, you're a Pokemon.
Some Pokemon talk.
Dude, you got a fair point, like that stupid one from the Crown Tundra. Why does it talk?
The one with the big head?
It's not good, yeah. It's not good.
I still need to play that.
You really don't.
Oh, man.